Oh, hey. What's up, guys?
Leah was feeling lonely there for a bit.
Hi.
Hey, there we go. Ain't seen nothing yet. Here's something you ain't never done.
Greg, how's your dog?
Doing well, sleeping at my feet right now. You know, it's a lot of work, like having a baby, those of you with babies. But every day she gets more comfortable and kind of figures out the whole deal. Not being as good as Nicole's cute little Min Pin.
We're getting a puppy on Saturday.
Really? What, do you have it picked out already?
Mm-hmm.
What
Yeah,
you
we're
got
getting
to us?
a rescue.
Oh, good for you.
She's she's like a lab mix.
Is she from down south, by the way?
Yeah, she's from Alabama.
That's
There's a
where
lot
ours
of
was. We have a
shelters.
lab mix too from down south. Oh,
Yeah.
she's beautiful. What's her name?
Her name's gonna be Tilly.
All right. Congratulations.
They're so cute.
Look at her. Are you excited?
I'm so excited.
I bet you are. Cool.
I've wanted a puppy for so long, and we just bought our house a couple months ago, and so we finally have the room for it.
Mm-hmm. And the weather's going to be beautiful to get a dog on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
70 degrees.
Yeah. My puppet's from Texas. She's not a puppy though. She's 4.
Does she have an accent?
No.
No.
No, I do try speaking to her in Spanish, like on the off chance that her first family was Spanish speaking, but she doesn't follow commands in either language. So
Did you try German or French?
I did
Yeah,
not.
right.
I do not have the skills. I could probably do Portuguese, but that seems unlikely.
Happy belated birthday, Nicole.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, happy birthday.
Thanks.
It is Kate Landry's birthday today too. So well,
Yeah.
today is. So
Well, I'll sing when she gets on.
And she just bought a house right by me and Sam Jane, because Sam Jane and I are neighbors.
Are you really?
Yeah, Sam's like 2 blocks away from me.
how far is Landry from you?
She's a 4-minute drive. So she's like, because we're like up by Mount Mary. So
Okay.
Sam and I are on the south side of Burleigh, and then Kate's on the north side of Burleigh, technically in Tosa, like where the Menominee River Parkway runs.
Okay.
So
I live by nobody.
Greg, you and I are kind of neighbors. I don't know if you
Yeah,
know
we
that.
are. You're right. And Lori Reinhardt's out by us too.
Okay.
And believe it or not, Kelly Sanders. I think Kelly Sanders is closer to you. than
Okay.
me.
I think Beth lives out in Sussex too.
Yeah, she does. And Fur Bear.
Yep.
I live in the middle of nowhere, in the forest.
So then you only have wolves and bears as neighbors.
No, just like giant squirrels that are the size of raccoons, and a
Nice.
woodchuck, and a lot of blue jays. That kind
Well,
of.
that's fun. Blue jays are good.
I had 2 raccoons on my patio last night that scared me to death, but
Don't go out there.
Why? Oh, jeez. Trying to see who is Phil. Oh, it's Trevor Hill, but he's got Phil.
Just T Hill. That works too.
Yeah, I see Phil. There's no space or period.
That works. That's fine.
I don't want my face to show.
we want to see your face,
But
Lori.
like the kids.
You mean I'm not muted? You could hear that?
Yeah, we hear it all.
Dang. Okay.
Actually, I really do appreciate that most people do show their face. I don't
do
know why,
too.
but it's so difficult to like talk to kids when they refuse to put their video on.
Yeah. I've kind of, after spring break, I decided I was fed up with it and told them they kind of had to unless they really had a good reason. So now at least I'm teaching to faces and not black boxes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of told them the same thing. I'm like,
Yeah,
I need to
I'm like,
see your
I'm not
face.
okay with this. Yeah.
Like you can just nod if you understand what I'm saying to you, and like
Right.
at least let me know that you heard me.
Right.
Or be like the governor's sign language person that is very animated.
Yes. Very animated. 90% of American Sign Language is in your face and your body, not your hands. So the animation is part of the language.
Okay, here's someone who has the name Pixel 3A. I hesitate to let Pixel 3A in.
I just love that you narrate this part, Greg.
Well, I kind of want you guys to agree with me. So if I let Pixel
I
3A
agree
in
with
it,
you. I would not let that.
I would hit pause on that one.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it ends up being some terrible thing that scars all of you.
You just want us to all be responsible. not-
Exactly.
You mean like after last week's meeting?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was scarred me. So,
I missed that. I haven't been getting the invites the last 2 weeks, so.
and I didn't hit the record button early enough.
Wait, who said they haven't been getting invites?
Jenny.
Oh, that's
Trudy's
not
gonna-
good.
Trudy's
Okay.
gonna include me, so. I got the first week or two, but I haven't the last two, so.
All right, let me check on it and make sure you do. Sorry.
That's okay. I reached out. Thanks, Chris.
I'm here for you.
I want to know what happened.
Is it still raining outside? Because I haven't got out from my chair in about 2.5 hours.
Yeah, the weather outside
Yeah.
is frightful.
Yeah, my dog who hates the water is outside in the rain though, laying down in the middle of the yard. So it can't be that bad.
Let her come back in.
He doesn't want to. He's been inside all day, and I opened the door and he was like, "Bye."
The rain is the only thing keeping the birds from pecking at my patio door because they're being territorial when it's sunny.
Mine fly into my windows.
Yeah.
It's like
That's
really
what's
Had
happening.
that. And then you find them dead in the middle of your yard.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's not good.
not pretty. Especially because like I have an area that's like all bay windows, and it's like you can just be sitting here and you'll hear it, and it scares the crap out of you.
We have a mama bird that built a nest right outside my dining room window, so I watch her all day long. It's kind of cute.
Hi, Becky Schultz.
Hi, Becky. Hi, Chris.
Hi.
Hi, Chris.
Hi, Chris.
Why do I always want to sing, here's a story?
I know.
Because it looks exactly like that when you look at it.
Hey, help me out. Who is the Bond family? Who am I not thinking of?
Johnson.
Oh, yeah.
B-O-N-D?
Oh.
Bonson's in.
No, not me. Not me.
So we agree to remove the Bond family? TB, it says. TB. I can let him in, but then we're going to have to, everybody look at your screens. If something terrible happens,
Is
scream.
it Tessa Bennett on?
No, I'm in already.
Okay.
Okay, here they come. I let them in. Someone start looking.
It might be my dad.
The funny part is that most staff members don't ever get to say that.
Right.
And it's because it's like, oh gosh. I don't even want to explain it. I'll let him explain it if it is.
Is he in?
We're going to ask the question.
Hey, Roger, are you in? Yeah, a little louder, Roger. You're in?
Roger, do we have you?
Yes.
Are you
Dad,
the Bond?
Dad, your name is still the Bond family from, they're all making fun of you. Just so you know. From Coach. Oh boy.
Didn't know if we should let you in or not, but your daughter gave us the okay.
Leave Dad alone.
Michael, we're at 67, so we got about 15, 20 more.
Yeah. A couple people emailed me, said they couldn't come today. Almost felt like I was at school for a second. Can't make the meeting today.
I'm on a phone call, buddy.
Could somebody start a Google Doc, maybe a Google Sheet, that would have everybody's top like TV shows to watch? Because I'm starting to run out.
The Rookie,
Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
NCIS.
See, this is why I need a Google Sheet.
You should be writing these down as you go. Just,
Oh, Matt, yeah.
I believe I sent my second lap through the Big Bang Theory. I've probably watched every episode at least twice.
Same.
Greg, the new Billion starts next week.
Oh, really? Hey, Jill. Oh.
Yeah.
My wife's got me watching Ozarks.
That's a good one.
Ozark.
I love Ozark.
I saw that.
We like Brooklyn Nine-Nine because it doesn't have a laugh track.
Okay.
We're on our second round through Breaking Bad again.
Yeah, never watched that one. I do want to watch that one.
Schitt's Creek is hilarious.
Is it
Yeah,
really?
my wife claims that I would love it.
So funny. Second Schitt's Creek. I just watched the whole series.
Really?
I haven't watched it yet. My wife claims that I would love it.
It's fantastic, but it's
Has anyone
the
seen The
first couple
Pharmacist?
Episodes are so hard because it's so awkward.
No, The Pharmacist for
Yeah,
me.
that's
The
pretty
Pharmacist
interesting.
is a good documentary.
Greg, that show that you were telling me about before all this stuff happened, the documentary about the guy on the tightrope or something?
Yeah.
I can't get it without having to pay for it.
Well, come on, dig in those pockets. Rip open that
come on.
zipper there. And so it's called, come on, help me out.
I can't remember now.
Is it
Abby,
Man
what
on a
are
Wire?
those shows on the Ledge? It's like The Ledge, but it's not The Ledge. Gosh darn it.
Cliff.
No, but you're close. It's something like that.
High Wire? I don't know.
Oh, Free Solo. Free
That's
Solo.
Oh, I've seen that. Yeah, that's
I guess
good.
I'll have to pay the $5 to watch it.
You know what? I'll cover you.
It's on Free Solo, I think is on Hulu or Disney if you have that. It's really good.
Yeah, it's on Disney Plus.
Sounds like a Star Wars.
Oh, that's where I saw it.
Yeah, that's the plot to Return of the
tried
Jedi.
getting
Just
it on
Free Solo.
Netflix. I tried on
The
Netflix.
Last Dance. Who's watching The Last Dance, the Bulls series?
I am.
Oh, I am.
So good.
Is it good?
Done good,
So
yeah.
How
good.
about,
Very
how about
good.
if you're not a basketball fan? Is it still
Doesn't
good?
matter.
It's
I think
still
it's
good.
still like it.
Okay.
I like the Dennis Rodman version.
Yeah.
That was fun to watch.
His episode was
person.
great.
You learn a lot you didn't know.
Yeah.
Carmen Electra hid from MJ.
Well, it's slowed way down. We're at 75.
Okay, how about we roll? I hope everybody's doing well. Rainy outside. It is. Somebody said it's good when people show their face because they just like seeing people because they haven't seen people. Our agenda, if you haven't got it, we linked it into the appointment this afternoon. So you should have that. I'm going to apologize because in this meeting I'm going to show one thing, but I'm not going to be able to show the other because Matt Schuler sent me a really, really good video within the last half hour of we did a parade. Really, Matt and Roger organized the parade for our foundation students' families where we did a car parade, and they were nice enough to let us people tag along, so we were able to get out of our houses. But last week, Friday, where we drove around to all of our students in the foundation program, and they were generally, we had to drive by a couple of them a couple of times, but generally out at the end of the driveway, waving and such. So Matt or Roger, I don't know if you guys want to share a little bit more, but we'll share that video both in the New Berlin West Facebook teacher account, and then we'll share it out to staff too, because I just got it in our staff email. But Matt or Roger, do you have anything you want to say about that?
No, I stole the idea from somebody else on Facebook. I mean, somebody else was doing it. So I saw that and kind of thought that, our students in the foundations program who are a little more high in the needs, category than a lot of our other students would have enjoyed seeing our faces. So I tossed it out to Roger and we kind of thought it was a good idea. So we tossed it out to our assistants and they all were on board. So then I kind of said something to admin, and Greg spread that word, and it just kind of snowballed from there. But I got a lot of feedback from our parents about how much they really, really enjoyed it, and just loved that, you know, the kids got to see us. The entire Holbrook clan was out there. Sheriff Finsky's were all out there. So, I mean, it was good, and it kind of helped the kids, you know, see everybody. And they just, you know, I just got a lot of feedback, and I've been meaning to send that feedback to our staff and just tell them how much it was appreciated. So now I don't have to send that email. You all heard that. So that are on here. And, you know, it was just a cool thing, and they enjoyed it. I think I told all the parents, I think we enjoyed it probably more than they did, because it allowed us to get out of the house and see them and enjoy that time. So it did take hours roughly to see 7 kids. So they're kind of spread out all over New Berlin. But it was well worth it, because I know the kids really, really enjoyed it. That's kind of all I got.
Anybody else, Roger, or anybody else who was there want to jump in and say anything else?
Yeah, we also had the police escort by Strauss, which was awesome. That really added to it. And it was nice that the admin came too, so it was a really good time to see everybody too.
Michael had a great big Viking flag, which was really cool, and it was just really fun to see the kids, even though Aaron was crying and it made me sad, but I just really enjoyed seeing everybody, because I really miss everyone.
Yeah,
I actually,
really, yeah.
I actually live in, oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I actually live in the Holbrooks neighborhood, and I heard that there was a parade. People were talking about it, but I just assumed it was someone's birthday. So that's funny that it was you guys. So
I think about 15 cars or so.
And Laura Gavin was out there too waiting.
So good stuff. So that was one event. I'm going to share a little bit, share more in a little bit. I also, a couple other bits of information kind of in the update category. Access to the building. I've had staff email me. We can go in as a staff, you can go into the building at any time. So I know that's in trying to make sure everybody does everything right. We've been getting some questions. So you as a staff member are able to go into the building at any time. Your fob will work. We do ask that you let Scott Stevenson know if you're going to go in and the areas that you plan to be in, because they'll come through and clean those areas again afterwards. So, so if you do need to go in, you can. We're starting to get some questions on student pickup of items. And if people need to pick up things for your class that you need for the rest of the year, we can facilitate that for sure. So I think in the last few days, we did some AP US materials. I did a book for middle school English. We did some, we've done cellos and different things in the past. So we can do those things if you need to. You know, we had one staff member's child who needed some AP stuff. And when I told them that they could use a staff member, they asked if that would be a violation of privilege to have Becky Prault come in and pick up their things. So, so we can do that. You can go in, or we can go in and do that. And if we need to make a home delivery, we'll make a home delivery. I know some staff have been doing that too. So that's all acceptable. As far as end of the year pickup and clean out and all that kind of thing, now that announcement came out that we're not going to be in person through the end of the year, we've got some questions starting on that front. And that information will be coming out, not locked in yet, but we're going to do that very close to the end of our year. We're not going to start that pickup in the beginning of May for the end of the year. So I'll say this with your in regards to your classroom or your area. We're probably going to open up a time at some point in time, but if it's ever a time when you wanted to come in and just organize your things, feel free to do that. But it's not, don't make an announcement, or don't bring the whole department in on a day. There's a concern about too many cars being in a parking lot when the school's supposed to be closed. So, you know, if you do that individually on your own. When it comes time in the end to do that, then you're done. But also we'll be announcing times towards the end of the year for that too. Students and families, when they do that pickup, it's literally going to be a drive around the outside of the building and taking items from cars and giving items to them. And our custodians are working to clean out lockers and do all those things. So that's all in process. Any questions on that at all? Okay, if we're good on that, I'm gonna share my screen here just in a second. We had our senior cap and gown pickup yesterday, so we had several staff members there for that. It was an interesting event to do, and I do have a few pictures, and that's really why I want to share. This is the part where I wanted to get that video from our other group out, but we'll get that out in a little bit different way. But just some photos so you can see some of our students, but we did it as a drive-through. So this, when you look at this event that they did, had a table set up out front, and students and or parents were driving up. So you may see some people you recognize. I hope you do as you look through. This slide I put out here on purpose. If you look at that picture on the upper right, you notice we have 3 staff members here working, but they're social distancing because they're all communicating via technology yet. So they got so used to that technology communication, they can't stop using that method for communication.
All that shows is that I've been hitting the snacks way too hard.
But then again, just a few slides, some pictures of students. Will Timlin here in the upper right, I didn't recognize him at first because he was very well covered up. And with his hood on, I couldn't see who he was. But just a really positive communication from students and from parents about what we were doing and how we were doing it. So hopefully as we pop through there, I'll share this out with you too, so you can take a little bit better look at it, but that you get to see some of our students as we're moving through. So
lost Alyssa again.
So that's that. That was a really neat event. The other thing that we've got coming up, and I'm going to kind of share this quick and then unshare this. So senior sign delivery for Friday, 8 to 10, we're going to be at the front entrance of the building, and we'll be there available for you to come and pick up signs if you've signed up. If you arrive at the front entrance, we can either put the signs in your car for you, or you can come to the table that we have and grab your signs. It's whatever you're comfortable with. Make sure you take signs and make sure you take the stakes to put them into the lawn when you go. When you deliver the signs, we just ask that you keep in mind the social distancing. Take pictures, please take pictures, and send them to Jordan. He's become our person who, in this case, is going to be grabbing those and collecting those. So, so that's that. I think the biggest other part of that is we're asking that you check your messages on Thursday evening. One of the things, we did get these signs sponsored, and we're still working out some of the detail on this. We found out a little bit later in the game that the company that sponsored it wants to deliver some signs too, and we had our signs assigned out. So we might be making some adjustments. We'll try and contact you if we have to make an adjustment for you. We're hoping that the company is willing to partner with us and just follow us to the home. Just because a lot of us who signed up, people who signed up all throughout the staff, have a personal connection with people. So, but I just want you to double check that Thursday before you come in on Friday, and we'll make sure we have. Are there questions on the senior signs part of this at all?
Could you repeat the time that the signs, we can pick them up?
Yep, anywhere between 8 and 10 in the morning. And in all honesty, if they're not picked up or we're waiting for somebody, you come in a little bit later, throw a text or throw an email, and we'll just wait. So our idea will be to deliver them on Friday at some point, and that's the deliver them is totally up to you in time and how you do that. So we just thought if we put a couple-hour window there. They're also I'm gonna swing into some graduation stuff too. Right now we're creating 2 graduation programs. We're creating
Hey, Michael,
graduate.
can I
Yeah.
pause you? Because
Yeah.
there's some yard sign questions.
Okay.
Is that all right? Amanda Upton, do you just
Yeah.
want to unmute and ask your question?
Sure. So I have two questions. So one is about, and it looks like Becky Peralt asked something similar. So like they don't know we're coming. It's a surprise. So are we supposed to just show up and ring the doorbell? Do we email the parents ahead of time or call the parents? Or I don't know the safest way or makes the most sense way to go about it. And then also with the sign themselves, do we actually physically put it in their lawn or do we just give it to them so they can put it in their lawn?
Okay, so I'll throw out some things. You can contact them ahead of time. We did send out a general message that said, hey, we're going to be delivering things to your home on Friday, but we didn't give people a time because we couldn't. I wanted to leave that open to you. So if you want them to be there and want to see them and you hope that they're coming out, I would email them or call them, any way to get a hold of them, doesn't matter. You can put it in their lawn. I have been asked the question a little bit, and I don't know if this is in there or not, but about apartments. If students are living in apartments, where do I put the sign or what do I do with the sign? And my suggestion would be just to put it close to where their address is on the outside of that apartment. And then, ideally they're coming out. Now, with social distancing, you have to keep your 6 feet distance or whatever. Yesterday, as you saw in the pictures, we have a lot of students who are wearing masks. We have a lot of parents who are wearing masks. You may be wearing a mask because that's what you're comfortable with. You may not be because that's what you're comfortable with, but we just need to recognize that piece. So if you can get a photo, whether it's of you putting in the sign, if you have somebody with you and there's a photo of you putting in the sign, or you get a photo of the student in front of the sign or near the sign, any of that's fine. We also put in the message if they're not there for some reason and they want to take their picture by their sign, send it to us. We'll take it that way too. I saw Bill Trudell's message pop up. I just happened to see that one. It is Friday from 8 to 10 in the morning. Did that help answer those questions?
So we can contact them and let them know exactly when we are going to be there?
Absolutely. If you want to, and in a way that's nice because then you get to see them and hopefully them and their parents, right?
Picture of them. Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
And is the idea that we deliver them on Friday or just we could get the sign and we can deliver it whenever it works?
Ideally, we deliver them on Friday, but if you cannot for some reason, if you can just reach out to the student you're delivering to and say, hey, I'm going to be there on Saturday or Sunday or whenever that might be, totally fine. What I don't want is a student to be waiting for a sign, not get one on Friday, and then feel like they were forgotten. So if for some reason you can't deliver on Friday, just get them a message to know that you're going to be coming. Other questions? We look all good? Anything else in the chat? Anybody? No, good?
I think we're good.
Okay. All right, now the next part of the meeting, and this is just, everybody's welcome to stay if you want, but I don't want to bore people to oblivion in the next 15 minutes or so. For any support staff, end of the year educator effectiveness, all of the end of the year evaluations, you're going to be contacted by whoever your supervisor is. But for teaching staff, end of the year educator effectiveness, because that message was shared by Nicole this week and there have been some questions on it, we put that on the docket here. I do want to touch on one thing before that. And Donna Malone fired this question in within about, I think, 15, 20 minutes of this meeting. So I'm going to try and address it. And then Donna, if I don't address it, correct me and say that wasn't my question. Here is the question, I believe. We are teaching Monday through Thursday, and we're assigning assignments Monday through Thursday. Teachers are making the due date of those assignments Thursday evening, Thursday at midnight, whatever, for their assignments for the week, because no new assignments are being assigned on Friday. Yet Friday was supposed to be a quote unquote catch-up day. So there's some students who aren't getting things done until Friday, need Friday to do it, yet they're being marked late because they're not in on Thursday. So there's a little bit of a crossover on that, the Thursday to Friday thing.
And Michael, can I add in that
Sure.
We're also hearing some of, and I don't know where the balance is with this, but kids who are feeling stressed, like, oh my gosh, I got to get this done by Thursday night at midnight, which I get. But then in a way, they kind of still have Friday. And so I don't know where that balance is, but yeah.
So here would be my 15-minute quick thought suggestion, and then we can maybe talk about this a little bit if we need to. I'm very comfortable with assignments being due Thursday by midnight because we're not supposed to assign new work for Friday, and you may want to be following up with students who haven't completed their work on Friday, which was really partially the intent of Friday. So I'm pretty comfortable with that deadline. My thought was, if for some reason a student cannot get it done yet, intends to get it done, and you don't need to reach out to them on Friday, if they would send you an email saying, I'm working on this, I will have it done by blank on Friday, that would spin that right back to the student responsibility rather than you following up with them on Friday and feeling the pressure of Friday. But that would be something that staff members would need to communicate out to their students to have that work. We could send a general message, but I don't know. That was literally in the last 15 minutes before the meeting. I was trying to think about how do we get that crossover? Because if you have things due Friday night and then somebody doesn't turn it in, not that you're not spending some time Saturday and Sunday in front of your computer. I know all of us are. Not that we want you to, but we are. It would force you to do that if it's due on Friday evening rather than Thursday evening. So I don't really want to change due date. Thoughts on that? Greg, did you see that message in the chat?
There is one thought on that Friday night attendance. The attendance is finalized at like 4 o'clock. So if the kid turns in their homework after 4, the teacher won't be able to correct that absence.
Right. And I'm okay with that. Like they didn't.
Okay.
If they didn't engage during the week, then that's what that is. Now, if it's that one assignment, because to me that attendance would be they didn't engage at all during the week.
Right.
So,
you're asking about the question I think Jennifer asked, are we supposed to have a weekly deadline rather than a daily deadline? I don't think, and Michael, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think are we supposed to? I don't think there's a supposed to. I think the whole idea here is that we're really trying to ease the stresses of it for kids. I think having daily deadlines probably ramps it up for kids, but there again, it's really on a kid-to-kid basis. If you know a child is purposely not doing work, not engaging, well, that's when you engage counselors, parents, associate principals. But, feel your kids out. If someone's stressed out, weekly deadlines, daily deadlines, sometimes doing weekly deadlines is more of a negative because then kids let it build up to the end. That can be a problem too.
Right. I've seen a lot of different ways from different teachers, and somebody can jump in here, but when they put a weekly plan and put things that are due each day of the week, it lets people see that day. That's kind of the cross between daily and weekly together. So that's one way that you could maybe capture that for those people. But do other people have thoughts here?
Michael, my understanding was attendance is based on their engagement. So if a student is really stressed out and is trying to catch up, even if he doesn't finish the assignment, I think we can mark him present because he's working with us. But for grading, if they are working throughout the week and they still need us on Friday or even the weekend, if the teacher agrees, I grade them. I mean, if there is any way we can help them to stay in the loop and don't lose them, I don't mind anything. And for the attendance, for me, it's just based on being engaged or not. So by 3 o'clock, if the student has never contacted me, despite my emails and anything, for sure it's absent, but I still grade him if he submits it late Friday or Saturday.
And I think you're absolutely right. Like that attendance is engagement, but completion of assignments. And if they're working with you, I haven't heard one teacher that's hardlined into the due date was a due date and you've been working with me all along, but you didn't get it done, so I'm not going to let you. So I think that's all happening. I think it's just that communication piece, right? Just because they're not with us in a classroom, it's harder to have that communication. So when you think about it, again, I'm okay with the Thursday night deadline. The question is, if they need Friday to complete it, we don't want to have them live in panic, nor do we want the teacher chasing them if we know they're going to complete it. And I'm just struggling a little bit with how to bridge that Thursday to Friday. There's a part of me that said if the student emails me and says, hey, I'm going to have this done on Friday, then I know on Friday morning I'm not chasing that one. I might have 3 or 4 other ones that I need to chase and talk to. And then I can wait for that student to turn that in who's had that communication or those couple. Thoughts?
I'll just say one thing is I have a large percent that don't participate or communicate all week. And it's when I put missings in on Thursday, all of a sudden all the kids and parents are emailing me back. So I don't by putting the missings in on Thursday, I get a lot more communication back from the parents and the students. So that's just the one reason I'm doing that.
And I see some people nodding in agreement with that as well. And that's, for some people, I think that's why they've gone to daily due dates throughout the week as well. Because if you have something due maybe on a Tuesday evening and it's not turned in, that missing goes in the grade book on a Wednesday or on a Thursday. It spurs activity as well. So I think, just people I can see on my screen, but what I noticed was Diane, I think you were nodding in agreement. Other thoughts?
Nicole Thompson shared with us how to send to the whole students of one class if they have missing assignment. So if we can do it on Thursday night, that's just a reminder that we're still waiting for your assignments. I think that's a good reminder.
Yep, and Donna, where's Donna Malone? I'm just going to ask you to speak here. I think, I don't know if it's some isolated situations where students or families are contacting you overwhelmed by the Thursday deadline, because then I would communicate with the teachers of those students to talk about that and figure out a communication for those individuals.
Okay, well, it's been both. I've had some contact from a couple of families. And then as I started thinking about it, because I'm like, okay, we have Friday as a catch-up day, I want to make sure that kids aren't being penalized if they miss an assignment during the week. It wasn't in on Tuesday when it was due, or wasn't in on Thursday when it was due. They're supposed to have Friday as the catch-up day, so they shouldn't be penalized, I don't think, until at least after Friday.
Yeah, so I don't know that, and I haven't heard of anybody, but again, I'm not in connection with everybody right now the way we normally are. I haven't heard of anybody penalizing anybody. But I think people are getting concerned because they see missing in a grade book, or they see, and what I don't want is I don't want staff members to have to wait till Friday night to put missing in, and then it moves Friday, the catch-up day, to the weekend. So that's
Right.
the struggle I'm having.
I agree with that, and I love that teachers put in missing, because that does kick people in the butt, and they start moving. And it's also really easy for me, because when I'm writing out a list of missing assignments for kids, it's really easy for me to scan. I'm just looking for those red missings, and I'm writing
Right.
those down for kids.
So let's leave it with Thursday evening due dates. But if there are individuals that reach out to you, and if you're comfortable sending out a message to your students to say, hey, if I know you're working on this, I'm not going to send you a message on Thursday night, Friday morning, as long as I know you're working on it. If I don't know you're working on it, then I am. And then students can kind of build that Friday into their schedule if they need to. Does that work generally?
Sounds fair.
I'll use silence as my, so if it doesn't work, you have to speak up, because I don't have any other way to be able to do this.
And the main thing, oh, go ahead, Leah.
If things are working, I have, a lot of times I do assessments and I'll do them over a 2-day period. So you can do it on Thursday, you can do it on Friday. I don't really care as long as you do it. And the vast majority of my students, that's working. Do I need to change that to make it due by Thursday now to be consistent with everyone else?
No.
Okay.
No, if it's working and you've got to give them the option to do it on Thursday, you're not assigning new work for Friday. you're just allowing them to do it on Friday. That's fine. But if people want to use that deadline of Thursday night, I don't want to take that ability away, which creates the opportunity for engagement on a Friday rather than a Saturday or Sunday initially. Others? Okay, good. I think we'll jump from there. And then this is the part where support staff, if you don't want to watch what the teachers have to do for the end of the year, this would be the place to tune out. If you do, by all means, hang out. But again, thank you for what you're doing always. And again, if you want to stay on, please do. If not, have a great day. And I will pop up this next screen. So now for teaching staff, I was asked by a couple people to share some things on educator effectiveness for the end of the year, just because it's new and different. So I'm gonna move through this fairly quickly and then let questions drive the discussion. We're gonna schedule end of the year meetings through the month of May. If you're in a summary year, it will be a individual meeting. If you're in a non-summary year, we're still doing group meetings generally. So we would have a group, whatever, Google Meet meeting or whatever for that. Things you need to do, your self-evaluation, your plan for your SLO and PPG for the next year, and then have your data finalized for SLO and PPG. I will jump into that a little bit more in a minute, but because there's a lot of nuances with that piece. And then your peer observation, and I've got an asterisk by peer observation, because if you haven't done your peer observation, and the information that we communicated earlier this week from Nicole Jones, a couple of different ways you can do it. You could jump on to a meeting that another teacher is having and watch their distance learning meeting. I've done some observations of teachers that way that have been excellent. And I've learned along the way there. Or you could jump into maybe their PowerSchool page and look at how their PowerSchool page is arranged and use that as a peer observation. There's two parts to the peer observation, and Greg reminded me of that today. One of them is required and one of them is optional. The required is that you do a peer observation. The optional is the feedback form in My Learning Plan. So that the completion of the observation in My Learning Plan is the required, and then that feedback form is an optional form that you can do, you don't have to do. So again, and if you have questions in here, if you can get them into the chat now, I will use the back end of this to respond to as much as possible. SLO and PPG, and I put a lot of words on here only because I'm going to share this out with you and I want you to have it in written form. To upload your data, and most of you have it already linked in there, and you just continue your data through the end of the year. We know that your data is going to be, for lack of a better word, not as accurate as it would be. I would use the word wonky this year because of where we are with distance learning. A lot of people either had to modify end of the year assessments, or you might not be able to do the end of year assessments. So provide that explanation in your narrative. People are going to recognize that this year didn't end the way it normally would end. The key here is identifying strategies used, how you monitored them, and changes you made based on the strategies, because half of your SLO score, and it's the half that when I talk to people in their summer year or at the end of the year, they're always like, oh, I met my SLO or I didn't meet my SLO. And the conversation is based on whether my students met the goal I identified or didn't meet the goal I identified. And I understand that, and that's where most of our conversation comes from. But half of that evaluation is on the process that you used, right? So it's on, here's my plan to start the year. I saw this in my data from students. I made these adjustments. So this is how we ended the year. So remember that half of that SLO score is process oriented, not outcome oriented. Also, if people are worried about kind of where their SLO numbers are falling and that type of thing, please talk to us at the end of the year. Everybody understands where we're at. And it's a 3-year roll on your data. So don't let that panic you, for lack of a better word. So in your narrative, this just kind of highlights those a little bit more.
Michael, Becky Peralt asked, what if we were going to use MAP testing for end of year data?
Yeah, just use your projected mid-year data then. So if you can't do your end of year data based on your SLO, use your projection based on your mid-year. So And then talk about those students maybe who weren't meeting your growth target at the mid-year and what adjustments you made for them. Because you're not going to have your end of the year data point. There's no way we can. Does that answer it, Becky, or do you need more?
So you want us to use the middle of the year data to say whether we met or didn't meet our goal for the year?
It's going to give you the projection of whether you are going to meet or not, right? So in the middle of the year, I was here. And then based on my mid-year, here are the adjustments I made with these students. So I had expected to meet, yet there's no way to measure specifically I did meet or not. But I think, again, when you talk process, you say, hey, based on the mid-year data, these are the adjustments I made to the work I was doing with these students. My expectation was that this work was going to, and in these other assessments, maybe I saw improvement from them. Then we went into distance learning and I could not assess in the way we normally did.
Okay.
So I don't want people to panic on it. Just, there's a narrative there, use the narrative to explain it.
Okay.
One of the things that I thought that might be nice to see in some of these, especially with those places like Becky mentioned where you can't measure end of the year. Hey, I made some of these changes, and then when we got to distance learning, I saw this from my students, and I made this adjustment to my instruction. And this is something that when we get back to being in person, I'm going to hold on to because I found this worked and it was valuable. So I think that would be good to include. And make sure that you're identifying the challenges encountered with your SLO and distance learning, especially as that part, because that's the part that explains it in your 3-year cycle. So remember to make sure that you're touching on that in your narrative for your SLO. If you're in a portfolio year and you're doing your portfolio, just some reminders, your deadline still remains June 30th, and my learning plan needs to be closed out and submitted by June 30th. And the reason being is it rolls over on July 1st, and if you don't submit it, it may lose data, and we don't want that to happen to anybody. So at the same time, there's been an extension given to portfolio. So if you have additional things that you want to submit and you're not quite there by June 30th, you can email them to Nicole Jones by July 10th, and she'll take them that way and then include them with your portfolio work. Anybody that talks to me about portfolio, I talk to them about using your artifacts and then have a narrative that supports those artifacts. I am happy to review them with you. I know Trudy has reviewed them. Greg reviews them too. Sometimes he gives them to me. I'm seeing him nod at me. He likes to give them to me more than he likes to do them himself. I enjoy having that conversation. My only ask is that you don't get it to me later than June 15th if you want feedback for you to make changes by June 30th. It puts too much, I can't give you the right feedback and allow you to make changes and check in. So whenever you want to do that, I'm happy. Yes.
A string of questions here. So
Yep.
Diane says, did you say Nicole Jones sent something regarding EE already? I don't think I received it, but I'm going to continue it. Samantha Jane says, I second that, Diane. I have also not received any information from HR. Barb says, I don't think I received the email from Nicole either. And Leah Rognaby says, same here. I've been searching my email and haven't found anything from Nicole Jones.
It wasn't sent out yet.
Okay, so the email from Nicole Jones is linked in PowerSchool.
Hey, Trudy says right at the end, it wasn't sent out yet. I just wasn't there yet.
But it was sent out, but it's in PowerSchool. It wasn't emailed out. So it's a link in your PowerSchool from this week. So if you check it, I double checked today, so it is there. And I'm not saying everybody's looking at that every day. It was sent out like a day or two ago. So if you're looking for that communication from Nicole Jones, it's there. And if somebody can look really quick and tell me, because I saw it on that page, look and make sure that link's working and that it's accurate. Other questions on EE? Anything else on EE? We good? Did somebody look and see if that's in that PowerSchool page? Anyone?
Yeah, Michael, it is. I just put the link in the chat so people.
Okay, perfect. Awesome. And So we're using that Power School page. No big deal. We can share it out in an email too, but if you've got it in here, that works. I just want to make sure people are getting it. Other questions related to that. And all this is this bullet point stuff was a narrowing of what Nicole communicated in a full long letter. Try to give you some targets to be able to reach and to shoot for. Donna, we see your puppy. Just to let you know that we're going to be reaching out and setting up meetings. If you have individual questions, contact your EE supervisor, and then we'll work to answer those. Are we good? And then last, just upcoming dates, and this will be emailed out, but I just want to share these with you. So May 1st, which is this Friday, is distribution of senior signs. Right now, we're creating a virtual senior graduation, and we're planning for a potential in-person senior graduation. So we're working on the virtual graduation, and part of that is seniors are coming and getting cap and gown pictures on May 22nd. So those of you who are work with like honor societies and those types of things, you're going to be getting a reach out from Donna in the next couple of days if you want to be there to, I don't know how I say give people your cords, but let them take their cords off a rack that's next to you during that time when they go in to take their pictures, because we want them to have all their cords on when they get that picture taken. So we're creating that virtual graduation in case we cannot do an actual in-person. There was a survey sent to seniors the end of last week that asked them about the dates, July 31st and August 1st as a potential, and August 7th and 8th as a potential for graduation. Our hope is by that time, we can put large groups back together. Even at that time, we'll be doing the first, maybe not first ever that I know of outdoor graduation at New Berlin West if we do it. So we would do that one on the football field in the evening is the plan if we do that. So that's May 22nd. June 5th, we're planning a senior car parade. They used to do they were doing the senior walk of the elementary schools. Can't do that. So we got AP exams on May 22nd. So yeah, May 22nd. So we'll just have to work around those for those students who are in them. The picture takes all of 5 minutes for them to do. So hopefully they can build it around one of those two. And then we'll have, I don't want to tell them we'll have an alternate date, but we will have an alternate date. July 11th is our tentative prom, still down at Harley Davidson. So if we're able to put groups back together by that time, we'll be doing prom. And then I already mentioned graduation. So those are some upcoming dates that we have. You'll get that shared out with you as well. Questions? Okay, so that's all I have. Trudy, do you have anything? I'm assuming that's a no. Greg?
No.
Okay, no. Greg?
Nope.
Jordan?
Nope.
Anybody else for the good of the cause? Okay, thank you all for tuning in. Again, thank you for what you're doing. I don't know about anybody else, but some of this distance stuff is getting a little old for me. I was pretty good for a while, and now I'm starting to like got to do the push a little bit every once in a while to get myself to the level we need to. So the nice part is I think things are starting to open up outside. So if we get a little bit of sunshine, that'll help. And some of these activities at school, if you'd like to be a part of them, reach out to us and we'll be able to find a way you can do it and be socially distanced at the same time. So if you're interested in doing some of those things, just reach out to us and we'll make sure we get the right connection to you. But thank you everyone for all you're doing. Have a wonderful day and we will sign off. Take care.